So when we're talking about elasticity, we're talking about the responsiveness just in general, right? We're talking about the responsiveness of one variable to changes in another variable. No, sorry, this is chapter 5. Thank you. Yeah. So we're not going to do the second half of chapter 4. We're going to stop once we hit labor supply, labor demand in chapter 4, and then just move on to chapter 5. Good, very good question. Thank you so much. And the first elasticity that we are going to be learning about, the first type of elasticity, right? So kind of within this general category of elasticity, there is specifically price elasticities. And a price elasticity is the ratio, and I'm just going to kind of put it in math form real quick for us, right? So it's the percentage, and then this triangle means change. This means this is delta, so it means change. The percentage change in either the quantity demanded or the quantity supplied divided by the percentage change in the price. And so obviously within price elasticity, there's going to be price elasticity of demand, which is the percentage change in the quantity demanded over percentage change in price. And then we're also going to have price elasticity of supply, which is percentage change in the quantity supplied over the percentage change in the price. And we're going to do examples of all this, which will make it a bunch clearer. So when we're talking about specifically the price elasticity of demand, that's what we're going to be focused on right now. We're going to be talking about how there are 3 different cases of elasticity. And I mean, I actually misspoke. This is going to apply equally to demand and supply. And so the first case that we have is what's called an elastic demand or supply. An elastic demand or supply indicates high responsiveness to changes in the price. Our elastic demand, the absolute value of our elasticity measure, is going to be greater than 1. So we're going to see this in some examples, but because of the fact that demand is downward sloping, every time there's a negative change in the price, there's a positive change in the quantity, right? So if there's a negative change in the bottom and a positive in the top, what's this fraction going to be? It's going to be negative, right? And so that's why we have to do this absolute value situation here. So price elasticity of demand is always going to be negative, because if this isn't the circumstance, right, if it's not If it's not that, then it's this. So because of the fact that demand inversely relates its quantity to the price, right? The quantity demanded is inversely related to the price. So it'll always be negative, but you'll hear people talk about it as positive, right? They'll say the price elasticity of demand is 1.5, and that's not saying that the price elasticity, that this particular good is defying the law of demand. They're just taking the absolute value when they're talking about it. All right, our second case of elasticity is inelastic demand or supply. And you might have been able to guess this, right? If elastic demand indicates high responsiveness, then inelastic demand or supply indicates low responsiveness to price changes. And this elasticity measure is going to be less than 1. The absolute value of whatever it is will be less than 1. Our third measure of elasticity, there are some things that do fall into this category. So I hesitate to say that, this is not just a theoretical concept, right? In the same way that maybe zero economic profit is, right? But there are some goods that actually fall in each one of these categories. This last one is called unitary elasticity. And unitary elasticity indicates a proportional responsiveness. So unit elasticity would be something like equal to 1, not something equal to 1, it would be equal to 1, sorry. But unit elasticity, this is saying, so let's go ahead and unpack this a little bit, right? Our elasticity is our percentage change in my quantity either demanded or supplied divided by my percentage change in my price, right? So if that is equal to 1, then let's just get rid of this for the moment. So if that is equal to 1, then that means that I can times percentage change in price by both sides, right? Times percentage change in price. And then this percentage change in price that's in the denominator is going to cancel out, right? Just because of our basic algebraic rules. So now when I clean this up, I can get rid of the stuff that I canceled out, right? I can get rid of the fact that this is over 1, right? Because anything over 1 is just itself. I can get rid of the fact that this is times 1, because anything times 1 is just itself. And then I can clean this up a little bit. And so I can clean it up a little bit more. Sorry, guys. Sorry, peoples. And so we end up with the elasticity equaling 1 can be translated mathematically as saying that the percentage change in the quantity either demanded or supplied is exactly equal to whatever the percentage change in the price is.
Those must be very rare, I imagine.
It is rare, but it does exist. It does exist. So, and the nice thing about elasticity is that all of this stuff, we go and we make these consumption decisions all the time, right? So they have real data about what happens when, so the book has an old example about, Netflix price increases or whatever, right? But it's actually really interesting, and I did a little bit of research, and I'll post this as an announcement because there's a couple of articles about Netflix elasticity, and recent demands of it, because they went through another price increase recently, right, in the last 2 years or whatever. And so, essentially they found that their demand is pretty inelastic, that when they increase the price, more people as a percent change don't drop the service than the percentage change of whatever that price is, right? So if they increase the price 10%, maybe 2% of their people are going to, stop their subscriptions or whatever. But unitary elasticity would mean if they increase the price 10%, then the quantity demanded would decrease exactly 10%. And some of the earlier estimates about Netflix elasticity were that it was, elastic, right? So again, this is kind of interesting, and there's actually one article that I'll link you guys to that ties in different scenarios of price elasticity and Netflix increasing the price and what that would do to the earnings per share of Netflix since it's a public company. So that's an interesting kind of tie into the corporate financial aspect of it, right? And also, the personal finance aspect of it, because, if you know the earnings per share, you can kind of, figure out what's going on with that particular security, right? If it's going to increase and decrease in value. So whenever we're doing these types of elasticity, hold on, let's go ahead and pause this.